Hello and welcome back to Self-Built. Today we're going over an advanced training technique which is called pre-exhaustion technique. This is an excellent way to increase intensity while also focusing on building up your muscle-mind connection on whatever muscle you're doing. Get awesome blood flow, painful sets, and very humbling at the same time. So if you're ready to see what it is, stay tuned. Okay, so basically what pre-exhaust technique is, it's a combination of a superset, two different exercises for the same muscle, but it's in a certain way to where it'll completely exhaust a certain muscle that you're going for. So it's typically about around a compound movement. So take bench press for example. When I say a compound movement, it means you're using multiple muscles and multiple joints to get that exercise done. So when you're typically doing chest, you're using your arms, you're using your shoulders, your chest, and your triceps. That will be pushing the weight. And when you're trying to fatigue your chest in a normal set, typically since this is a bigger muscle, your shoulder and triceps will give out and they'll exhaust before your chest will. And you won't be able to fully exhaust your chest. So in that instance, what you want to do is a single joint movement. And the best ones you can do are any type of fly movement because that focuses solely on the chest. Yes, you might use a little bit of shoulder, but you're using mostly the chest in that movement. You can use dumbbells, cables, power bands. Dumbbells are probably the worst. They'll still get you what you want, but they just don't give you full tension all the way through to fully warm up your chest and to fully get it working through all the range of motion. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to do it on chest. And some benefits to doing this is any kind of injury, if you have that, or you're trying to prevent it, this will be excellent for that because you're using less weight. It's easier on the joints. So that's definitely a good benefit. And if you haven't tried it before, it's very painful, but it feels very good. And since you can't use more weight than you typically do, you actually use a lot less. It's a little bit of a humbling experience to focus on the true nature of working out your muscles, which is just to completely exhaust the muscles. It doesn't matter how much weight you're pushing. If your muscles aren't tired, you're not pushing hard enough. So this is a good mindset to change. So let me show you on this one. All right, so right now I'm focusing on upper chest. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna do some cable flies to the incline chest. And then the secret is you immediately, or as quick as you can, you want to move to your compound movement. So in that case, it's gonna be incline Smith machine press. You can use a machine, free weight for your secondary compound. It might be best to do it on some sort of machine or something that's not a free weight just because you don't have to stabilize as much. But if you're comfortable with it, then by all means go for it. So just to show you, I'm gonna start with some cable flies. Shoot for about like 10 to 15 or so. Keeping it under control, focusing on that chest. And what you're gonna notice is this is gonna help you focus on the muscle at hand that you're working. And then once I move to the compound movement, since my chest is already fatigued, it's probably going to exhaust before the smaller muscles, the shoulders and the triceps. Or at the very least, it'll give it a chance to exhaust much greater than just doing a compound movement first. All right, so that's toasted. Move right into incline. Keeping it under control. Focus on that chest. And I'm already tired at 2 reps. Ooh. And that is a lot lighter weight than I normally use. But with that intensity I just had, that felt like I was pushing a lot heavier weight because I was pretty exhausted. Who'da thunk? Crazy, right? So this is one idea for chest. If you want to do like mid-chest, you can do mid-fly with a press, but you don't have to do the same angle of chest. You can do incline flies, and then you can do dips. So there's no rules. You can use this technique for back, for arms, for shoulders, legs, anything you want. I'm gonna give you another example of using it for back. With back, you're a little limited as far as single joint movements, just because you're usually using your shoulders, your biceps, your lats, a whole bunch of things, but I'm gonna show you what you can use. All right, on to doing a pre-exhaustion workout with some back. And before I get to that, I also wanna tell you how good of a warm-up this is for whatever muscle you're trying to do. When I was doing chest, holy cow, it was warmed up so quick. And then by the time I was done, my chest still feels destroyed and full of so much blood. So if you haven't tried this yet, what are you waiting for? On this exercise of back, basically the only type of isolation exercise for the lats is pullovers. So that would be either cables on a pullover movement where you're just holding your arms out and you just pull it straight down towards you. That helps just isolate the back. It tries to minimize your bicep and your rear delt, so it just focuses on that solely. And then the options are pretty wide at this point. You can do any type of rowing exercise, pull down exercise right after doing that. The only problem is, since there's only one isolation exercise for back to superset, you can just do it the whole time. Or if you just want to do it on a few exercises, just play with it and see what you think. But on my workout today, I'm going to be doing it on everything, so I'm going to get a ton of pullover work today. So we'll see if it works. But with this, I'm going to show you just how it's going to work. So you're not going to go too crazy on the weight. You want to focus mostly on range of motion and getting that muscle activation. And for me, I usually do pullovers at the end of a workout, not so much at the beginning. And it feels really good to do it when you're fresh because you can really feel your whole back coming alive. Just stretches it up, fills it full of blood, and gets it ready for any compound movement you can throw at it. Ooh. So we'll call that good. Move directly to some rowing here. Just like this. Not using much weight, but you really don't need it after you've already done a pre-exhaustion. You just want to focus on getting that squeeze and pushing towards failure. One nice thing about doing this is once your targeted muscle you're trying to pre-exhaust has completely failed, you can do forced reps with those smaller secondary muscles that usually are pooped by that time. So with that, I can use a little bit more bicep to get it in after I've completely exhausted the back. So definitely a good one. Very high intensity. So give it a try, it'll definitely make you grow. That's it as far as the demoing I'm gonna do. But if you wanna do this, for example, if you're doing legs, if you wanna hit your quads, what you'd wanna do is an isolation exercise for quads like leg extensions. And then you wanna do a compound movement like leg press. You can do squat if you feel safe enough and comfortable enough with that balancing. So just kind of go and see how it feels. Don't rush into anything and don't jump into too heavy of weight because you'll use a lot lighter weight when you're using this type of method. If you want to do shoulders, you can do some side raises and then go into shoulder press. Now, one pro tip for you, if you're doing any sort of pre-exhaustion, you're gonna be using 2 arms at a time. So your next compound movement, it needs to be 2 arms at a time. So if you're doing like back, for example, you're gonna do your pull down and you don't wanna do single dumbbell, you're gonna do 2 because one side's gonna be resting while you're working the other side out. So it's not gonna be very fair, not gonna be the same. So that's a pro tip for you. If you're doing 2 arms to isolate, do 2 arms with the compound too. So keep that in mind. And if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe over here, comment how that worked out for you. If you have any questions, want me to show any other techniques, and we will see you next time on Self Built.